Now the women's vault competition about to take place. Christina Victoria Kubon, the first gymnast to go. After the former junior Nordic all-around champion, we're going to have Joanne Chan of Hong Kong, China. Made her World Cup debut in Doha last year. Then we'll have Lyudmila Roshchina, an 18-year-old who made her World Championship debut last year. And how wonderful to see Courtney McGregor back in competition, the 27-year-old who's been a Pacific Rim medalist twice on vault. Oksana Chusovitna of Uzbekistan, the veteran 8-time Olympian. Taya Belak, the European Games vault champion from 2019. We've got Laia Font of Spain, second best in qualification. Actually won Mediterranean Junior Championship medals in Turkey some years ago. And then we'll finish with Leni Böhler of Austria, who has been a World Cup medalist on vault.
Çok iddialı isimler var. Jimnastiğin efsanelerinden bir tanesi ikinci grupta ilk atlayışları yapacak Oksana Chusovitna.
Well, an interesting women's vault final coming up. The top performer in qualification, Lyudmila Roshchina, will go third in the order. The finalists in the women's vault competition, and the top in qualification was Lyudmila Roshchina. She will go third in the order. She has a 5.0 and 4.4 set of vaults. Laia Font of Spain, who was the second best qualifier, also has the same. But we'll watch Taya Belak, the sixth best qualifier, carefully, because she is aiming for difficulty that's comparable, if not higher, than that. Qualification, she was some way below that in her difficulty, but it's a zero start. First set of warm-ups taking place in the women's vault competition. Joanne Chan of Hong Kong, 16-year-old who is competing alongside a 50-year-old in this vault final. The oldest and youngest competitors. Wonderful sense of diversity to this sport, as we're seeing so many competitors of a more senior stage in life and in their careers excel on the international stage. And indeed we're seeing the return of a very accomplished and well-regarded gymnast in the first half of this women's vault final. She was the third best in qualification, has a real chance to get onto the podium. The New Zealander Courtney McGregor. Now 27. Later this year is due to become Dr. McGregor. Amazingly making her comeback to elite level international gymnastics, because doing her final year of medical studies isn't busy enough and demanding enough. She's managed to combine it with an elite level gymnastics comeback. It's fabulous. And actually she said that that has been part of her motivation, is seeing patients who are unable to perform exercise, who are unable to leave their beds, and how they would give anything for the opportunity to be physically active. And it's helped motivate her to be active herself again in elite level sport. She's certainly a contender First and third best qualifiers in the first half of the final. Second and fourth best will finish off the vault competition. So we'll be guessing right the way through. A lot will depend on what Taya Belak gets in terms of the difficulty score for her opening vault, because she is intending for it to be a 5.0 difficulty score, but it all depends on the straightness of the body position that she can accomplish as to whether that will get a 5.0, whether it's more likely to get a 4.4. More on those numbers as we go into the second half. McGregor's got a very unusual set of vaults, the second particularly. First vault is a particularly common one, but it is her second that is intriguing for a 4.6 and 4.0 degree of difficulty. And I'm sure many of you know this, but just in case you're jumping into these World Cups not as familiar with artistic gymnastics, the two vaults have got to be from different families, i.e. have different entry points, different ways of accessing the table. We begin this women's vault final. Christina Victoria Kubon of Norway. She was 10th at the World Cup in Germany. Starts with a full twisting Yurchenko for a 4.2 difficulty score. She's been the junior all-around champion of the Nordic region. Very prestigious accomplishment. Won the all-around bronze medal at the National Championships last year. Big year for her last year. World Championship debut as well. So we look back at this first vault from Christina Kubon. Yurchenko entry with a full twist. Important that the gymnast keeps that body position nice and straight in flight. Very central in how she comes down to land, and 8.766 for execution, so a 12.966 score. Down a little from qualification, but by not quite a tenth. And that's the second vault from Kubon. That is the more complicated of her vaults. We will have a series of difficulty scores that are higher than this as we go through. She's in the sort of mid-range for difficulty based on what we saw in qualification. Sukahara with the full twist. Again, important to try to keep that body position straight. So it's a 12.966 average score. 12.966 for both vaults, so she was up by 0.2 in difficulty for the second, but down by the same amount in execution. We now go to Joanne Chan of Hong Kong, China. 16-year-old. She has been a World Cup finalist already. That was on the uneven bars in Doha last year. Had a bit of a sideways drift as she came off the table. Did a good job of controlling that. She was 17th in the all-around competition at the last Asian Championships. That was last year. Another young gymnast from Hong Kong that we are going to see a lot more of. And the same vault that we saw from Kubon, her second, So her score is 12.833. That's a small drop from qualification. Second vault now for the youngest gymnast in the competition. Handspring front pipe with the half twist of the body to conclude for a 4.0 difficulty. Lots to like about her vaulting. Lots to be pleased with for these two young gymnasts from Hong Kong in these first couple of finals today. Well done to them both. She was the 7th best in qualifying. Good pike position. Gets the body around well, twists with that extra bit of difficulty, the half turn of the body. Quite good execution in both of her performances. .866. It was a 12.5 for the second vault. She does pick up the 2/10 bonus as well. This is Lyudmila Roshchina, top performer in qualification. And that is the double twisting Yurchenko, so a 5.0 difficulty vault. It's got complexity to it. Let's have a look at the tidiness of the position in flight. Little crossing over of the ankles, just slightly detracts from overall very secure form and good execution. She was almost in the top 10 in the all-around competition at the last World Championships. 13.866, so that is the highest score we've seen so far. Actually the best execution as well as difficulty. Now we anticipate a full twisting Tsukahara for the second vault. And indeed so, that will do nicely too. She's going to go quite comfortably into the lead. And really, in terms of the difficulty, it's going to be very difficult for most of the field to go beyond her. Attention will go to Bellac and Font, really, as the most likely contenders to do so. But she's carrying, as I'm sure many of you know, an extra 8/10 of difficulty compared to the first vault of the first gymnast, Christina Kubon, the full twisting Yurchenko. So she gets 4/10 for each additional half. We will see the 1.5 twisting Yurchenko for a 4.6 difficulty next. Easily into the lead, 13.483, little higher than qualification as well. It's a 13.1 for the second vault. Welcome back, Courtney McGregor, the 27-year-old from Christchurch in New Zealand, Olympian from Rio, and two-time medalist on vault at the Pacific Rim Gymnastics Championships, both up in the northwest of the North American area. Richmond and Everett, Canada and the USA, as she starts with a 1.5 twisting Yurchenko vault. She was the 3rd best in qualification, won the vault title and the all-around title at the New Zealand Championships last year in her first competition since the World Championships in 2019. She's overcome very serious injury. Nice, precise beginning from the much respected Courtney McGregor. Stable landing. Still has some protection around the foot. It was an Achilles rupture about 6 years ago. .366 for vault number 1 for McGregor. Due to become Dr. Courtney McGregor later this year. She's a final year medical student. Well, she didn't have the most secure of second vaults, but she did perform it. It's an unusual vault. It's the Cervente vault, named after Veronica Cervente, Barcelona Olympian. Compared to the first, it may not have quite as strong an execution score. Not as symmetrical, more of an adjustment, but what a great return to international competition. Welcome back to a much respected gymnast. So it's a 13.116 for Courtney McGregor. That will do very nicely. Execution lower for the Cervente. I think that's the first one of those I've seen in a World Cup competition during the time I've been working on them. Now we're into the second half of the competition. Just to give you the full detail, it was 12.466 for the second vault for McGregor, so she's in the silver medal position. Now this is a gymnast who we anticipate will perform the same 2 vaults as the leader, Lyudmila Roshchina. So Lafont might well be able to push for the podium, or even push for the lead. She'll certainly be able to push for the podium. And then Oksana Chusovitna, 5th best in qualification. World champion on vault in 2003. Taya Belak, 6th best in qualification. It will be interesting to see what she manages to get in terms of difficulty, because she's aiming for a 5.0 first vault, but more commonly of late she's been picking up 4.4s. She has been credited with 5.0 on many occasions in the past, so we'll watch that with great interest. All depends really on the body position that she manages to get and whether she can fully extend. Final gymnast to go will be Leni Bola, 4th best in qualification, and that was on the strength of extremely good execution. Not huge difficulty, but her 2 vaults were performed beautifully, particularly the second, the full twisting Yurchenko. That vault had the single highest execution score of any qualifier, the only one to break 9. Let's go on with this women's vault final. Oksana Chusovitna turns 51 in a few months. World champion on vault from 2003. Olympic silver medalist in 2008. The only gymnast to compete at 8 consecutive Olympic Games. And she starts very securely. Amazing degree of control. All of that experience, all of that very good training. All of that respect that the gymnastics world has for her. Just a slight sense of the arms not fully being in the ideal position from an execution standpoint. Probably closer into the body when she's in the apex of the vault, particularly one of them, but the execution was very good and quite rightly gets a strong score, 13.266. Now this was the weaker vault in execution in qualification. Just as was the case with McGregor, a 4.0 degree of difficulty, very different vault. Very good handspring front pike half from Oksana Chusovitna. Lots of respect from the Slovenian coach as he gets ready to help Teja Belak prepare. Well, Chusovitna is well positioned to go into second place based on the quality of this. Nice pike position for the most part, had a little deviation from it as she was coming back down to the mat. Starts off pretty strongly. Has a bit of midsection bend as she lands. .133. She's into the silver medal position. Now it's Teja Belak. First of all, it's going to be interesting to look at from a difficulty point of view. Very well performed. It's a very high amplitude vault as well from Teja Belak. She's most commonly been getting 4.4 difficulty scores for her first vault. The goal, in terms of what she indicates, is for that to be a 5.0. That's the vault that's been indicated to the judges, but there's a very clear pike position. It is nonetheless an extremely elegant vault. We've got Roshchina 1, Chusovitna 2, McGregor 3. Stylish bit of vaulting from the 31-year-old. It is 4.4 difficulty as suspected, but an 8.8 execution, so 13.2. Now this is a big change for Belak because she did a much less difficult first vault in qualification, 3.8. So we can disregard really her being the 6th best qualifier now and put her absolutely into contention for the podium. This should be the 1.5 twisting Yurchenko. It is, and the amplitude is considerable. She gets real travel away from the table. Belak's execution score for the first vault was stronger than qualification. She's had 2 comebacks after maternity leave. Son Mai, daughter Mia. Good toe point, good heel position. Taya Belak, she's into the silver medal position, 13.483. I tell you what, she has got so close to going ahead of Roshchina. They're level in the tie-break criteria, level rather I should say on the scoreboard, in the tie-break criteria for the single highest vault. Roshchina leads. Now this is Laia Font, the Spaniard. Could really challenge for the lead. Has the same difficulty of vaults as we're going to see, what we have seen I should say, from Roshchina. Wow, she gets considerable height in the double twist. 19-year-old from about 75 kilometers north of Barcelona. A little piked as she lands, perhaps. We'll have a look at that with more clarity at the second time of asking. 6th time in a World Cup final for Laia Font. It's a bit of sideways drift, a bit of leg form imprecision, does well to stay in bounds. Picks up a pretty healthy score, 13.7. Now that has her just slightly trailing Roshchina, who got 13.866 for her first vault. So Font now needs to get a higher execution score with this full twisting Tsukahara. And it is going to be a good score, certainly from Laia Font, and there's a very strong chance that she is going to be, for the first time, a World Cup medalist. Back in the nation where she won 4 medals at the Junior Mediterranean Championships in 2022. Just recently turned 19. Real heel togetherness, toes pointed nicely. Maybe that she comes in just slightly below. Well, there we go, 13.4. She's managed to go into 3rd place, but it's so tight at the top of the leaderboard. 13.483 for 1 and 2, and 13.4 for 3. Last gymnast to go is Leni Bola of Austria. Holds her handspring front pike nicely. That is a 3.8 difficulty vault, so the lowest difficulty score that we'll see in this final. Similar vault to the second from both Joanne Chan and Oksana Chusovitna, the youngest and oldest competitors in the competition. It just doesn't have that additional half turn of the body. So where they turn around and land facing the table, she stays facing away from it. And it is a 12.433. So 2/10 down from qualification. Her most difficult vault is coming now. Podium feels fairly locked in just from a difficulty standpoint. And some nice Yurchenko vaulting from Leni Bola to finish. Silver medalist on this apparatus at the National Championships last year. Competed at her second World Championships last year in Jakarta. First Southeast Asian World Championships in artistic gymnastics. Very mechanically sound. .883 is the average score for Leni Bola. It's 12.933 for her stronger vault. The classified results in the women's vault competition. Laia Font of Spain gets her first World Cup honours, just ahead of her Teja Belak of Slovenia, and on the tie-break criterion of having a stronger single scoring vault, Lyudmila Roshchina wins the gold. Now the women's vault to victory ceremony. The winner of the bronze medal, Laia Font of Spain, the first time that she has managed to get onto a World Cup podium. Teja Belak from Slovenia, getting close to 40 World Cup medals. And it is Lyudmila Roshchina who wins the title, and only on a tie-break with the veteran Belak. The 18-year-old takes the gold. The medalists in the women's vault competition.
Please rise and direct attention towards the flag ceremony and the national anthem of I.
The medalists in the women's vault competition.
Pommel horse, ladies and gentlemen.